Okay. Next update. I didn't record yesterday because I didn't finish it up enough. There's no point in me recording every fucking thing. I may as well update the end results, kind of ish, right? All right, go listen to this music. It's good. All right, pause it. So, spectating system. Show you real quick. Join the. We'll create a host server in the forest. Join, and then I'll show you that the client can spectate his teammate and the host can spectate his teammate. And you can choose to go to the next teammate, to the previous teammate, etc. It's a basic thing, but there are 2 bugs. One not caused by this. I don't know why, but it's fucking this up, so I gotta fix it. Another, don't know, really. The player respawns too fast. He spawns with faster speed than he should. I don't know why. There we go. Disabling voice so that you can't hear me. Like this, we should be good. Why fucking not? That's why, because I clicked back in. All right, so here we go. 2 players, right? Both on the same team. Oh my god! Fucking beam sounds like team. All right, now here you go. Now the client's gonna kill the host and he's gonna spectate the client. I'm gonna do this really quick so you can see both games. I run it in smaller windows just for frames right now because it's more fun. So, we'll kill the client first because that's more impressive. So, fireball. Oh, why did it hit himself? Oh, because they both. I don't actually know. Well, okay, so this won't work. So he needs to respawn first. So we'll just say that. Oh, he didn't die. Okay. All right. So, yeah, sure. Oh, and he can kill himself too. Lightning bolt. All right. And now he's spectating his teammate because we're on the same team. So he's dead. He hasn't respawned yet because we're in capture the flag maybe, and he can't respawn until his flag is captured because that determines your respawn privileges. So now works nice. Basically the server, I'll tell you how it works in a minute. Basically the server sets his player controller to look at another teammate's player controller instead, and the server has to find it, and then the server will go back to that's it. Yeah, the server so he'll pass his information to the server, and then the host, the server, will set the player controller, and because he's already replicated, that will get replicated down to him. We don't have to go back to him and do some other shit. However, one thing we do have to do is turn off his health widget because notice he's spectating. What? I didn't mean to click that actually. Oh, I think that was the bug earlier that respawned everybody. I'm not actually sure what happened. I think it might have broken. No, it didn't. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there actually. Or maybe it just registered that it was clicking. I'm not sure. So, it might be a focus thing. All right, now we'll do the reverse. We'll kill the host. Fireball. Magic missile. Blindness. Deafness. Oh, I already used it? I didn't even see it. Is it going? Oh, I guess it hit one of these other things. Okay. Beam. So now he's dead, and now he's spectating the client. See? Works good. So this is what the client is over. Wait. Yeah. This is the client. He's here. I'm just in third person just to show. The other guy can see all the stuff. So if you're getting chased, you can still see. One thing we do is we clear the health widget of whoever's spectating because I don't personally like seeing through the eyes of the client exactly, because if the other guy's hurt, then you're looking through his vision and he's really hurt. I don't know. Well, one thing is you have to clear your own health widget so that you can see the other guy, because if you're dead, that means that your health widget is going to be very, very red and you got blood on your screen because you're dead. But if you're spectating the other guy now, you shouldn't have that on your screen anymore. So clear that up. And that was the hardest part of this. Well, not the hardest part, but one of the more annoying parts. I did it today just now. Probably the most annoying part to implement that now works. I didn't see the speed issue just now. Maybe I wasn't paying attention because I just killed the host. The host respawning, he keeps spawning. Well, it only happened one time, but I only tested it really like one time diligently. And he spawned with extra speed for some reason. It was really fast. So that works. It works with, I guess, however many people you want, really. How it works is when the player dies, we have all these widgets. One of them is the death screen widget, and I added 2 buttons for spectating. And so I guess you could, it doesn't have to be, my idea was that it was going to be capture the flag, because if it's deathmatch or something, you should be able to just, you shouldn't spectate your teammates. And I don't know, maybe it's cool, maybe not, I don't know. But really what should happen is you just respawn. But if it, maybe there's like a cooldown or something, or a respawn time or whatever, probably that makes sense, because if you get killed, you shouldn't instantly come back. And then if you got killed near spawn, you can just keep on contesting it over and over until you inevitably kill the enemies, unless they're just too stacked and they keep healing and beating you, or they're just better. So if it's capture the flag, it's the best example. In capture the flag, what's happening? Oh, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna delete this stuff because I haven't even really committed anything. So, think, right? Let me check. Hold on one sec. Yeah. Okay, we're good. So, basically, when you die, like in capture the flag, if you can't respawn, what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna sit there and you have a fucking red screen and your character's looking up because he's dead, and your camera follows your body? There's root motion, so your camera's looking up like you're dead because you are dead, and that's it. You're just fucking stuck. You just wait until your fucking respawn appears and it allows you to. No. You may as well spectate your teammates to see if he's gonna clutch up, regain control of the flag, and then click respawn after and stop spectating, something like that, right? So I added 2 buttons, easy peasy. They just they're buttons that tell the player to start spectating. What do? They get the owning player, which is a player controller that owns the widget. We get the pawn that he's controlling, which is going to be whatever the controller that owns this widget is possessing, which is pawn. And we know that the player controller is only going to be possessing a character, because you only play as a fucking character. So we cast it to get a first-person character, because that is where our logic is stored. That is the spectating. So 1 button called same function, but I added a bool so I don't have to write 2 separate stupid functions. So instead, we just say, okay, this is previous player, so don't do next player. This is next player, so do next player. That determines the order of where you go. So it looks to the next player versus the previous player to spectate. That way you can choose. You can be like, oh, I went too far. You don't have to click again and over until you finally loop back to that guy. You can just go back 1 and boom, spectating the person you want. And if you only have 1 teammate to spectate, or there's only 1 teammate who's alive, or 2, or 1, then it doesn't matter. It's only going to spectate him. And if you have none, it won't spectate anybody. So this goes down to the character, where the character initiates the logic. The character has a function, and it takes whether or not we should be spectating the next player or not. This should be called, I'm going to kill the commit anyway, so it doesn't matter. This should be called spectate next player instead of previous or whatever. But oh, well, this already says, comment already says that whether it's spectate next for true or previous player for false. So then, wait, we're already in the player. Oh, I also need to do another cast, because we need to get, there's something in the player controller called the view target, and by default it is set to be the character that the player controller is possessing. So by default, this should be you. So the problem is, when you get that view target, it only returns an object, or rather an actor. And an actor doesn't have the functionality I need. I need player character. I could just pass an actor, and then in this other logic, get it as a player, as a first-person character, because we need some of the info that's inside it. But instead, I'm like, okay, fuck it. I either put it here or I put it here. Let's just do it here. So we basically get the target that the player controller is viewing through. Whose eyes is he looking through? And we make sure we convert that. We cast it to becoming a first-person character. And regardless of whether it failed or not, it doesn't matter. If somehow he's looking at something else, regardless, he needs to be spectating now. So don't give a shit. Send him anyway, because we end up updating this value if it's invalid, if it's an null pointer. So it's fine. So what do? This logic is executed in the player that this widget is only owned by the player who just died. So it's only going to execute on his machine. So he specifically tells the server from him, I am the spectating player. I'm currently spectating this guy. We're going to update that later. I'm going to use that so that I can look next previous, because if I'm already spectating somebody, we get who I'm currently spectating, and I pass that. That way, the server can go, oh, who's next or who's previous. If I don't pass it, then it has no way of knowing that. So, and I have to pass it here because the server on its end, I guess it would know. I guess that could be one thing that could go either way, honestly, but fuck it, it's fine here. The player also has a team, so we pass that because we don't want to try and spectate other team players. We specify whether we're going to the next player or to the previous player, so I don't need two versions of the same fucking function. Then we specify the player controller. Which actual player are we updating the view of? Who is doing the spectating? Okay, who's doing the spectating? Who is being spectated? And we need his player and his player controller. And then after we actually spectate, we need to hide the health vignette, which literally just collapses it, sets its visibility to collapsed, so that we don't, our health doesn't block how we're seeing through somebody else's eyes, because that wouldn't make sense. So what does the actual logic look like in spectating? Well, we have to tell this info to the server. So we now call the server event. The server received this info from the local player, from his client, or from itself if the server is a player, which he is. So he'll tell himself, hey, me, here's my player, here's my controller, here's who I'm already spectating, here's my team, and whether we need to go next or previous. All we do is we get the game state, cast to the specific game state that I implement so that we can get its functionality, which is where this is implemented. And then after I print whether the result is successful with a bool. And later on, stopping the spectating is super easy. We literally just get the player controller from whoever is stopping the spectating. Can't just do get player controller because the server executes this, which means only the server, only the host would be unspectating. So if somebody else is spectating, a client, and then he tries to stop spectating, if I just did get player and get player controller here, get player character and get player controller, or control pawn or whatever, there are those, then it would be the player making the host unspectate. So if they're both spectating, they shouldn't be affecting whether each other is spectating. Doesn't make sense. So this guy wants to unspectate. He has to say, hey, Mr. Server, here's my info. Help me out. And then he says, okay, I will unspectate you. Cool. This logic, the unspectating is way easier to handle. Just the order of it's kind of a pain in the ass. I have a custom event as well that's owning client. That way, whenever a player is respawning, we can say, hey, okay, please show your health vignette. See, your health is back to normal so you can see it. And also stop spectating whenever you respawn, because if you respawn, you shouldn't be spectating. We only want you to do it. It shouldn't be everybody. It shouldn't be just the host. It shouldn't be just the player. It should be only whoever is respawning, not everybody. So where's the actual logic for spectating? This is two main functions. So the first thing is this. We have to get all the players so that we have an array of people, player characters to look through and find the next guy or the previous guy. So what do? We save all the players onto two separate arrays of players. Get them all. For each of them, we make sure it's valid. I mean, it wouldn't exist if it's not valid, but fuck it. We switch, so we switch on his team value, so it's either 1 or 2. If it's default, okay, we put an error because for some reason his team isn't valid. This was useful earlier because earlier I was a retard, and instead of getting the team, I just put the array index like a dumbass. So the first player is index 0, obviously, because that's how arrays work. So first player would always default because it's not on a team, because this is how it was looking at the team. It was looking at the freaking index. It's supposed to be the team that you're looking at. It's stupid. So then we just add them to one of 2 arrays. If you're on team 1, add them to array 1. If you're on team 2, add them to array 2. So if there are 8 players, there are 4 and 4. So the teams they have to be even or off by 1. If there are 7, 3 and 4, would add the 3 player 1 team 1 players to this array. It would add the 4 player 2 players to this array. And then nobody go here because everybody should have a team. Everybody must have a team when the game starts. Cool. Now we have 2 arrays to look forward and back. Now when we get past a character, we can find him in one of these arrays. And if he's in this array, then we can go forward or backward in it. But if he's in this array, we can go forward or backward in that. So now we just need a function that takes one of these arrays. So we choose the right array, pass it, take the player, pass it, boom. And then we can find the next player. Easy peasy. So next we actually have to do the logic. So we receive the player who's doing the spectating. We have his controller as well. That way we know to actually do the updating. Then let's see. Oh, we need the player so that we can remove himself from these arrays, because everybody is in all these arrays. So if we have 7 people, all 7 are contained somewhere in here. So if logic comes in, the player who is trying to spectate is on team 1. So we look in team 1. We know he's in team 1. Well, we want to look at team 1 players, but we don't want him to be able to spectate himself, so we have to remove him. We take the spectating player, we remove him from his array. And in the beginning, and we set whatever the array we're going to use as the correct team, so that we're only considering that array. I don't have to have 2 separate whole paths, one using spectatable players, team 1, and then one doing it for team 2. No. One array, we just decide that based on who's doing the spectating. Comes in, they're on team 1, okay. So we say we're only going to consider, and we have this separate array here that we're setting because we need a separate copy. We don't want to fuck with the actual array of players because that doesn't change unless someone leaves the match, which I also update later too. I have a function that just when the player leaves, tells the server, hey, remove me from the array. Easy peasy. That technically already existed. I just added the player into that function. It just passes himself to the server and it removes him from whichever of these 2 arrays he's in. Really, it removes both. That's it. So we need the separate array so that we have an extra copy. That way we can remove him, and then we can throw the array away. And then whenever somebody else spectates, then we make another copy. Because maybe 2 people have left. We need to get the players again and remove him from that, etc. So we get his team. We remove himself so that we get whoever he can spectate. And then for each of them, we have to remove dead players because you can't spectate another dead guy. So we just loop through the array and via an interface to just return whether the health is less than or equal to 0. If it's true, then we just remove that player from the array. Earlier, I fucked up by forgetting to connect this parameter, this remove function, because I'm a dumbass and I forgot. So it wasn't removing him, so he was spectating himself by default because when you add, I guess it was adding himself just by coincidence, and it just so happened that he would be spectating himself every time. So after we remove all the dead players, we finally have the array of his teammates. So do we want to go to the next guy, or do we want to go to the previous guy? Logic is basically the same. If we want to go to the next guy, I'll show you this in a sec. We need to find the next guy, and when we get him, if he's valid, then save him and spectate him. If he's not valid, then didn't find anybody next. And this actually checks to see, this also does looping around. So if we're spectating the last guy and we look for the next guy, there is no next guy, but it actually loops around. So the only way it will return, oh, here it is. So it'll return the next player and it returns whether there are any spectatable players. If there are none, then we return false. Same thing here. If we're looking for previous spectatable player, then we also return, are there no spectatable players? If there aren't, then return false, because there are no players that we can spectate. But if there is one, when we find the next guy, it might be that we went next, didn't find one, so we go to the start of the array and then return him. It might be that we were spectating the first guy, so we went to the next and there was none. Or hold on. It might be that we were on the last guy and we went back and didn't find anybody because we were actually spectating the first guy. So if we're on the first guy, we go back an element. Well, there is no -1 element in the array. I mean, technically, you could say that that's wrapping around, but in this case, it isn't. So we go to the last guy, return him. So if there's none after, we go to the first. If there's none before, we go to the last. We should get a player. And when we do, he's valid. If he exists, then, and this checks if it's valid or not, we spectate him. So all this is which team? Find the players that we can spectate, find the guy to spectate him, and print whether we succeed or not. Okay? How do we actually find the guy to spectate? Well, we have to find where the current guy we're spectating is in this array. If there aren't any, so like if this is invalid, if there isn't a guy, then when we search for nothing, we'll find nothing. And what happens is when we search for find, we get -1 if, like, let's say we're not currently spectating anybody. Granted, we're passing the view target, so it should actually just be himself. But the point is, when we look in the spectatable player array, we're not going to find yourself. We're not going to find yourself. So we'll start from nothing. But let's say that we are spectating a guy. Okay, so we know he's in the array now. Well, make sure that he's found. If he's not found, for some reason, whether we aren't spectating anybody, so we need to just get the first guy that we can, or that's the only option. If there's nobody to spectate, then we do something. We're going to start with the first guy. But if we have somebody, we're going to go to the next guy, or in the other function, the previous guy. So we have a guy, we found him. Let's say he's in index 1. So there are 3 other people to spectate. He's on index 1. So we need to validate him. So we're going to check for the next guy. So we have him. We know he's index 1. So we're going to add 1 to get the next guy. We're going to get the object in the array to see if there actually is a next guy. Does this guy exist? If he does exist, return him. Easy peasy. We found him. He's valid. We have him. Boom. Return him. If he's not, that means that we found somebody. So we have at least one guy. Okay. Oh, this would be interesting. Should consider if there's only one guy. Actually, I guess it would spectate him again. If there's only one guy to spectate, click it, it would return himself because you found a guy. Let's say there's only one now. Or let's say there's still 3. Okay? So we found the next guy, return him. Well, let's say instead we were on the last guy, index 2. There's no index 3. So we didn't find the last guy. We checked for the next one. Well, there wasn't one. It wasn't valid. This is false, not valid. So instead, we're going to just get the first one. We're going to loop around, get the first element. Oh, there is a guy. Return him. Easy peasy. Oh, there's still not a guy. Wait, if there's no 0th index in the array, the array's fucking empty, yo. There's nothing. If it's a bucket and there's fucking 0 apples in there, no apples in there. Can't eat anything. There's no next apple. Nothing. So return no player to spectate, and there aren't any players to spectate. So we got nobody. That's it. And then we would get false here. We would get false or false, and we would return fail. Don't try and spectate because we have nobody to spectate. But if we do, and we'll do together. So previous is the same shit. Find the guy you're currently spectating. Make sure he's found. If he's not found, start at the last guy. And you could say first guy too. That also works. But we're doing last. I'll show you in a sec. So this time, let's say we're on the last guy. We want to go previous. We want to go from index 2 to index 1. Go to index 1. We check. Oh, he's valid. Return him. Easy peasy. Oh, if he's not valid, then that means we're at the first index. There is nobody before. So what do? We want to go to the last guy. So instead of doing, if there is nobody, go to the first guy, which works. Instead, and if there's no guy before, go to the last guy around. Why not just always do the last guy? Just call this logic for both paths. Easy peasy. You always get a guy. But if there is a guy, if there is a last guy, so there's nobody before, so we go to the end. Oh, there is a guy. Return him. Easy peasy. But if there's not a guy still, that means if there's no last index in an array, then guess what? There's fucking nobody. If there's no last apple in the bucket, there are no apples in the bucket. Boom. So we've saved all the people. We've looked and we've found the next guy. How do we spectate him? Easy peasy. All we do is say, okay, we're going to pass in just 2 things. Don't care about the team. We already used the team. We don't care about next or previous. We already found the guy. We don't care about the player currently being spectated. All we want is the guy. Hold. Oh, okay. We've already used the current player just so we can remove himself. Now we just need to use the player controller to set who he should be viewing. He's looking through who he is spectating. Pass him, and then we've gotten the target here from these functions. We've saved him as the player to spectate. So when there is a guy, when there are at least one guy to spectate, and we've gotten him, then we save him. We've already validated, so save. Then we're going to go and actually spectate him. Granted, probably redundant, but fuck it. Every time I use a reference that's passed in, I make sure to validate it just in case, because we don't want to get a fucking program crash because we're dereferencing null pointer. Fuck off. So we validate it. We don't have a guy? Okay. Somehow it still failed, even though we got to this point through a success. fail. Okay. If success, if instead he is valid, there is a guy to spectate. All we do is say, hey, player controller, look at this guy. Your new target and return success. Easy peasy. That's it. That's it. That's the whole thing. Save all the people, find the next guy, or save all the people. We remove this guy from his team so that we can look at his other teammates, find the next or previous guy, spectate that motherfucker. Boom. Where does the logic get called? It's all here. We call it from the player. So now we've spectated the guy. We print the result just to make sure, hey, oh, my screen didn't change. Why? Oh, there is no next guy. Okay. Or there's nobody to spectate. The guy left. Something like that. Okay. So, and when we spectate, we call that next function that hides the vignette. So, like the next previous player, we hide the vignette so that we are seeing just him, just his gameplay. That's it. Don't even see his health. Don't see that. I don't think I want to, honestly. I'll decide that later. Whether I want to see his health live and shit, because then he'd have to do the same timing and freaking interpolating his blindness, so it smooths blind shit on the spectator too. I don't know about that. I might show like some health meter or something. Then I don't know. Sure what I think about it, to be honest. So we have that, and then we also have to stop spectating. So that works. That's how spectating works. Then we have to actually stop spectating. How do we do that? Well, you should only spectate when you should only stop spectating when you respawn. You don't want to just stop spectating. So when you respawn, when you click the respawn button on the death widget, respawn, call respawn player. It's an interface. It goes to the player. Oh, I'll kill these changes and commits later. Fine. So this gets called. Where it gets called, I think it always gets called. Well, actually, no. It gets called on the client or it gets called on the server. So it's whoever clicks it. So it's the server whenever the server player clicks the button, he's dead. And it's the client whenever the client player is dead and he clicks it. So do some shit. We already do. It doesn't matter. The point is, in some of the logic that it's doing, the server will eventually execute stuff. So the server will say, hey, if you are the guy who owns this player, so if you're the server, you own the player, run the logic. If you're the client, you own the player, run the logic. That way, we don't just do the logic here, because then anytime anybody else respawns, if the host is spectating, he's going to stop spectating, which doesn't make any sense. So in this case, this only executes on the guy who actually owns the character. Solid, because the server is always running this logic. So the server runs it. And sure, we increase health, do all this respawning shit, that's other shit, doesn't matter. This is the actual logic I did today. So we need to stop spectating. How do we stop spectating? We have a custom event, a server RPC, well, I guess a client RPC, for the server to run on the client, click the button. Client clicked it, he alone needs to stop spectating. So what do? We tell the server, hey, mister, this is me. This is my controller. Reset us so that my controller is now looking at my character. That's it. If I just instead called that function here, well, actually, this is just a function for convenience, but if I called that function in here, then it would be the server getting himself and his own character. And again, we would have another case where if the client guy gets this and it clicks, it's going to affect the server. So the server is going to stop spectating, even though the client and the server are two separate players in the game, because the host is a player. Tell the server via an owning client RPC, hey, here's me, stop me from spectating. And all we do is say, hey, set the character to be the new view target for this controller. Done. Then show the health vignette again, just for us, because this is only on the owning player, owning client, us running this. Show my health vignette again, make it visible. Easy peasy. That's it. That's how it works so far. Don't think I fucked anything up. I'm just gonna file, save this for now. I'll just build the commit after. And do it again real quick. See if I can replicate that bug. So I was getting that earlier where the host would die. He would spawn too fast. And I still get a bug where the team selection actors, which you'll see in a sec, these guys, I have a function that kills them, and somehow it respawns the host. Maybe the client? I'm not actually sure. I don't remember. It's tough to tell what's going on when it happens. It happens quick. So, disabled, 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 disabled. You can't hear me. Good, good, good. All right. So, all right. Beam. Fireball. Okay, he hit himself because the beam was already in him. So it hit himself. So the client is dead, and he's going to spectate the next player, which is his teammate, the host. There's team killing in this game, because there should be. If you shoot your freaking buddy IRL, your buddy dies. Or your buddy at least has a bullet in him. Like I just not, right? So he's dead. Shit on your buddy. That's it. Okay? But now, when he respawns, only he respawns. Everything is still golden. But now he's going to kill the host. Beam. Fireball. The host killed himself. Now, he is spectating the client. Client's looking around. The host is good. And now the host is going to respawn. I think this is fine. So let's see. Good, 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 good. Good, 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 good. The speed looks fine, actually. I'm going to kill him again just to make sure. Beam. Fireball. He killed himself. Respawn. Good. Now he's going to spectate this time. He's going to kill himself this time. Bolt, different way. Lightning bolt. Beam. Okay, he's going to spectate. Now you can see. He's going to respawn. Good. Oh my! That destroyed 0 team selection actors. Why? I don't know why I did that. I don't know what caused it. I think it's the respawning, but I'm not exactly sure because this is not relevant anymore. But in the games, in the VoIP game state, I have. When is it starting actually? Team selection menu, clear the actors. So it finds all actors in the game that have this tag. For each of them, destroys them. And then after, we'll print this. So the player keeps respawning, but it didn't destroy any. So why did it respawn him? Something called this, and that same thing caused him to respawn. It seems like. I'm just going to find references to this guy really quick. Boom. It's the only time he's called. Seems like maybe this was called again. Or there was some delay that caused this to execute again. Team selection actors. This should only be done one time. I don't know why it would be done another time. Or if it only executed once on the, well, it should only be happening from the server. This is already executing on the server, so it should only happen one time. And I'm not doing a has authority thing here, but it should just be the server doing this, and that's it. But what is this? Hold on. No, this is fine. Move the widget, owning player. This is totally separate stuff. It's just a timer that does this. There's no. Oh wait, hold. Uh-oh. Is that the issue? That's the reason. Get all the actors. So this is moving all players. This is for each player, assigning them to the team. But then for each player, set this timer and then call this shit multiple times. Oh, hell nah. This needs to be on completed, bro. Right? That makes sense? So let me read this logic. That's the hard part. This is the first project I've ever had where it's like, I've been working on this for 3 months and 13 days. I started on October 1st. So it's been October, November, December, and then 13 days in January, 103 days of this game. So granted, a lot of days that I've been away, probably 20, but I haven't been able to touch the game, but gotta hang with family, go. So move all players. This is one thing. The server is moving all the people. So for each player that it finds, assign it to the team. And then after one time, start this cooldown. There's no reason that we would want to do it multiple times. This is the reason. I don't know when that happened, or I accidentally unchecked it, or if it was actually just doing this multiple times. It probably was doing this the entire time, and it was removing the widgets for everybody multiple times, but because it was already removed, it didn't do anything, and I just never knew the whole time, being a dumbass. But the game start countdown, if it's, well, even if it's not looping, if it happens once, oh, I've played around with this game start countdown recently, because only very recently, within the past week or so, I changed this cooldown from like 5 seconds to 0.1. So that way that when the game starts, it goes. I think what might happen is for one of the players that it finds, it runs this and the timer completes. Maybe the first guy or something. But then for the last guy, there's like some delay in the array. Maybe, I don't know. Don't know why this would trigger. I gotta see if this gets called multiple times too, because it shouldn't. If this gets called, somehow the array takes forever to finish looping through, and then it ends up calling this a second time. Maybe it's somehow these took a while, so yeah, right? Because this is, oh my god, it must have been looping so many times. Because before it was for each actor. So in this case, two players. Assign both players to a team, and then start this timer, and then destroy a countdown visual, and then for each player, find all of the, oh wait. Oh wait. Wait, actually, maybe the array is fine. Wait, hold. There. This is fine. So this is not the thing, actually. This is not the clearing team selection actors. It's actually this. Oh wait, but that's the point. So if this timer was executing multiple times, if it was how it was, which was this, right? Let me go back a bunch of times, right? So I'm going Control Z a bunch of times. It's been connected this whole fucking time. I've been working a whole bunch of different places. So for one player, we assign him. We set the, wait. For just him, it assigns him to the right team and then starts this timer to start the game before the other players even assigned to the team. But then I guess all this shit happens so fast that it then loops to the next guy and then starts the game for him too. So it actually does play the game twice. Oh my god. Maybe that's why the sound has been playing twice sometimes. It's only sometimes. So it probably depends on how fast this timer can actually execute, or how fast, this loop can execute. Probably depends on the CPU. Or I guess if the GPU is running the game mainly, then if the GPU is slow for some reason, this loop might take a while, or it might be really quick. So it executes and spawns this guy, but then executes this entire thing, timer executes again, and then starts the game again. So quick, the sound that plays when the game starts happens twice, but at the same time, you can't tell the difference. But sometimes if it's a little slower, I got more shit going on. I got this fucking music going on. This is Bravely default music. It happens a little slower. I hear it twice, and I wonder, why am I hearing the spawn sound twice? I feel like that's happened. So, okay, because this is fine. This needs to loop so that for each player we remove his shit. But this is not supposed, this is a multicast. This is supposed to happen one time, so it should be for each player, put him on the right team. Then do this one time. And then after excuse me, after we have started the game and shit, we remove team selection widget from all the players because the game has started. But then it was doing that whole thing a second time. Somehow with the loops and the delays, this timer would execute again later. Maybe that's what happens actually. Somehow the first instance of this executing took a long ass time. So once it executes a second time, this timer executes again, which then moves these players. Something like that. It's difficult to know because I don't actually know where the issue is. Is it what took so long? What took fucking forever just then? Like well, I clicked respawn, right? Wasn't that the point? No. It was that I stopped spectating. No, I clicked respawn and then it somehow did. That is funk. Very funk. I'm gonna compile and save this shit. And then I'm gonna discard all that. That is wonky. It is very wonky. Sure. Play correctly hides, non-hides. 43 minutes, 41 minutes. Yep, this is all shit I can kill. Okay. So now I gotta go back and fix that. Very weird. Very weird. I'm a dummy.